So let's set the scene. It's March 2nd, 2026, and pretty much the entire NBA world is watching Milwaukee. Why? Because the narrative was all set. After a month out, the Bucks superstar was back to save the day. But what actually happened was something totally different. A story about a team that, even down a star of their own, just refused to follow the script. Let's get into how one team's big night became another's massive statement win.
It's the kind of question that makes you do a double take, right? Your franchise player comes back, the guy your team has been struggling without, and the result is a 108-81 blowout loss at home. It just doesn't make any sense. Well, the box score only tells you a little piece of it. We gotta peel back the layers to see what really went down. And this is where the story was supposed to start. Giannis Antetokounmpo, sidelined with a calf strain since late January, was finally back in the lineup. You can just imagine the energy in that building, right? The hope, the expectation. Everyone thought his return was going to be the jolt of electricity this Bucks team needed to get their season back on track.
Now, when you look at these records, something really interesting jumps out. These numbers show that even with Giannis, the Bucks were just kind of treading water, just below .500. But without him, they sink into a much deeper hole. There's just no question about it. His presence on the floor is absolutely crucial for them.
But here's the plot twist. Just as Milwaukee was getting their guy back, Boston was losing one of theirs. Jaylen Brown, a five-time All-Star, a core piece of what they do, was out with an illness. So that simple story of a full-strength Bucks team against a wounded opponent, yeah, that went right out the window. Suddenly, on paper, this thing looked a whole lot more even.
So, with the stage set for what should have been a gritty, hard-fought battle between two kind of hobbled contenders, something else happened entirely. Boston didn't just compete, they took over. This wasn't just another game on the schedule, it was a total statement. And it all kicked off with one game-breaking run that turned everything upside down. And this right here shows you just how fast it all unraveled for Milwaukee. Late in the first, it's a tight one-point game, the kind of grind you'd expect. Then, boom, the Celtics just hit the gas. A massive 24-5 run that spills right into the second quarter. In what felt like the blink of an eye, a nail-biter had turned into an absolute runaway train. By the time halftime rolled around, that run had turned into a solid 14-point lead. The Celtics had grabbed complete control, and you could almost feel the air just get sucked out of that building. Okay, this quote right here, this is probably the most important moment of the whole night. For a hot second, the Bucks showed some life. They fought back. They cut that lead to single digits, and the home crowd started to get back into it. And what did Boston do? They immediately, and I mean immediately, slammed the door shut with a 15-0 run. That wasn't just an answer. That was game over. So who was behind this incredible show of force? With Jaylen Brown watching from the sidelines, this became a story about the other guys, the players who stepped out of the shadows and right into the spotlight when their team needed them most. Let's start with the rookie Hugo González, because what he did was just unbelievable. It was only his third ever start, and he went out there and played the game of his life. I mean, just look at this chart. A guy who usually gets you under 4 points a game just explodes for 18 points and 16 rebounds. An absolutely massive performance that nobody, and I mean nobody, saw coming. And then you had Payton Pritchard. He was the engine for the offense all night long, leading everybody with a cool 25 points. He stepped right into that primary scoring role without blinking and just got the job done. But this number, 9, is just as important. It shows you this wasn't just one guy going off. It was a total team effort. Both Pritchard and Derek White were dropping dimes, each with 9 assists. They were just orchestrating the offense with so much poise. It was beautiful, unselfish basketball. So, what about the man of the hour, Giannis? In all fairness, he put up a very respectable double-double. 19 points, 11 boards, and he did it in just 25 minutes. On any other night, those are pretty great numbers for a guy just coming back from an injury. But on this night, against this kind of onslaught, it just wasn't nearly enough. So when you zoom out, this one game really tells a much bigger story about where these two teams are headed as the season starts to wind down. And this slide really puts it in the simplest terms possible, doesn't it? You have two rivals just moving in complete opposite directions. The Celtics are climbing. They're riding a 3-game winning streak and building some serious momentum. And the Bucks? They're in a freefall, stuck in a 3-game skid and just searching for answers. And for Milwaukee, this is the part that's truly alarming. They aren't just losing games, they're getting completely dismantled. Every single one of their last 3 losses has been by 23 points or more.
That points to a problem that's much deeper than just one bad night or a star player trying to get his legs back.
And a quick peek of the standings really drives the point home. You can just see the massive gap that's opened up between them. The Celtics are sitting pretty at 41-20, while the Bucks have fallen 8 games below .500. This game was a perfect, and for them, a brutal snapshot of two franchises on totally different paths. Which brings us to our final question. After watching a rookie and a bunch of role players march into a rival's building and completely dominate, without one of their best players, you really have to ask yourself, is this the kind of depth that wins championships? Because this performance sure makes it look like it just might be.